So I don't know if you guys actually noticed this, but in the past day, there is a brand new high selling copy of Betty. And yes, Betties are going for the most in game right now. Takrita, one of our guildies, recently decided he was going to be using his SSS stone and then selling it off to a certain someone I might know who that is, because they sent me a screenshot and they sent me a little clip to show how overpowered this Betty copy is right here. It is the new highest price on the auction house. I do know about 15,000 of this was probably sent back, but still the highest sale to date in the game. If you wanted to take and figure out how much as far as starry gems this costs, 35,500, divide that by 2,500 is how many hundreds? Add 100, multiply 100, 14,200. Wow. Now I know a lot of you guys in the comments are immediately gonna say, but Barry, that's not the actual value that they spent on this. I'm like, I know that. What I know is that's how much of in-game currency has been spent to acquire this much. Is it by one person? Probably not. Was it bought on the black market auction house? Most likely, because a lot of deals go through. It's usually like 65-70% of the in-game price, sometimes lower depending on the bulk and all that non-stuff. I'm not going to get too much into that. There are people that deal in it. It is what it is. But this is, again, the highest copy ever. And if you look at this copy, it is legitimately almost a perfect roll. I don't think we've seen a closer to perfect roll besides this Vulcan right here. And this Vulcan went for a lot back when Lord Eric was still playing this a ton. Now I believe the buyer is going to be Soul. I mean, a lot of you guys know Soul and all his amazing accounts. Honestly, the bonus stats on this really solid as well. Damage reduction, Ship Crusher, Defier, Hunter, Focus. Honestly, the only thing that makes this better is if Ship Crusher was Giant Killer. That's about it. Getting Defier and Hunter Focus, the two kind of 30% bonuses. Still don't know the exact way Hunter's Focus works just yet. We're going to assume it multiplies the damage and it's not just an additive damage dealt. We will see, because the way they described it is it happens after all the damage calculations, but also getting damage reduction built in on this as well is pretty solid. This copy is absolutely insane. Now, for those of you who don't know exactly how much power you can generate with this new Soul Gathering statue, well, do I have a screenshot for you. If we jump over to this right here, you can see right here, this is the image Soul sent me. Of course, this is the exact copy right here with the skin. You can do 9858 power. My guess is you could probably put a little bit more in here and maybe it goes up to 9,900 if you upgrade the speed to 99, and that way it's a perfect copy. I wouldn't be surprised if that lets you put a few more points in, gets you 9,900 of both these stats. But what's crazy is the sheer amount of speed this new system gives. He's getting 591 additional speed for this. Now, I'm not even going to talk about what the cost is associated with that 9858 points. Actually, you know what? Yes, we are. Because that's just ridiculous. Talking about this 9858, well, in order to get a point, you need 100 power. That is a lot. In order to get 100 power, like I said, that is essentially 1,000 points. Even if we just go with like C-, which is usually the closest you'll get. I mean, we take that and divide, or actually, so we have that many points, you have to multiply that by 100. And that gives you pretty close to 1,000,000 charging progress. We divide that by 450. That's essentially saying it's like 2,000 C- copies, I believe. I think, again, you all can double check my math down there, because I'm not really good at that. And even at even if you got a premium discount at like 80 per, that's like alone 175,000 additional starry gems. Granted, that's still only half the price of this, but that's taking this copy and then bumping that price up even further using this statue. But you get such a ridiculous amount of power off of this, and mainly speed, like I was talking about. The speed was something I was not prepared for. I did not realize it was going to be so much speed, but it is just an absolutely crazy number that you get to see. And beyond that, we also have a PvP video against two really, really strong teams, but she goes up against an entire team by herself. So this right here is a nice little clip that we got sent. You can see Soul's account here going against one of the very strong Omega Project teams here. And you'll notice there is a single hero that is about to enter combat against an entire team. So let's get this load bar going here. You'll see, and let me actually shift this over just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better here. You can see here, you're going up against an entire team. They're level 100s, 2020. It's a pretty solid team strategy. They even have their own Therapist of Blood Betty. However, what happens is we have a melodic string over here. I apologize for the quality. I can't control that. It is what it is. But what you'll see is an active skill go off, and you can see the damage numbers. Granted, they're not abbreviated as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So they're hitting in the trillions, about 1.7 to 2.6 trillion, even a 3.7 trillion white damage. The amount of damage applications that go on with this hero is pretty insane. And you can see the final results. There's so many attacks going off here between her passive and her active skill. It's crazy. And you can see here that basically took out the entire team. Yes, I'll let that play at normal speed for you guys, 1x speed. This literally looks like the ads they put out on Facebook whenever there's a new Transcendence hero. However, this hero is actually truthful because the fact that she gets an active skill off and her passive skill active off in a single turn, you can see the damage numbers and what is possible. And it's just even more crazy because number one, this hero is always going first. If she has all that additional speed, unless she has an equal opponent that has like an SSS copy with all that invested into it, she is always going first in combat. There's no way to make that speed gap up. Absolutely busted, crazy broken. I don't even know what the tenant location and hero copies look like. So the big question is, because we have a Soul Awakening session coming up this week, are others going to follow this pattern? We had this one, which was a couple months ago, I believe, maybe a month ago or so, hit the auction house. Nowhere near as good of a copy at all. Even the bonus stats are garbage in comparison. And yeah, if you get lucky enough and you hit a crazy Betty copy, this is the way to go, because to be honest, Betties, I think, are going to have more and more value as time goes on, as people realize how ridiculously overpowered this hero can be in so many game modes. Now, does she compare it to Lord of Fear Aspen for certain game modes? No, he's still like the number one. That copy right there is actually pretty insane with those stats. But overall, he's going to be still probably the more useful hero. Once you get a Noble Core, she just gets busted overpowered. Multiple actives, so much CC, it just gets absolutely crazy. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. A little backstory in case you guys didn't know about this hero copy and the transaction that happened yesterday. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time.